It is Mountain West Conference tournament time, and we finally know who the Aztecs men's basketball team will face Thursday in the quarterfinal round, the first step toward trying to guarantee a spot into this year's NCAA tournament. Hello and welcome to Aztecs All In. I'm Lewis Weiner along with Steve Perez. The Aztecs go into the tournament as a 2 seed with the women's team as a 1 seed. All you need to know straight ahead, but first let's say hello to my good buddy Steve Perez. Hey, Steve.
Hi there, Lewis. Well, the brackets are set, and the task for the men's hoopsters is to win 3 straight games. Theoretically, it's a neutral court, but that all depends on how many of the school's students, alumni, and fans make the trek to Vegas and show out. So, if there was any time this season for Aztec Nation to show up and show out, it's Mountain West Conference Tournament Championship Week. Aztecs capable. They won 7 straight to start the conference season. They have a 3-game streak after that against Wyoming, at Air Force, and Nevada. But since losing that home game February 17th to the Grand Canyon Lopes, the Grackalopes, they really haven't been able to win more than one at a time against the better teams in the conference. So, with all that as an observation, let the hoops commence to jupe.
Steve, the Aztecs will face off against Colorado State Thursday at 6 p.m. at the Thomas & Mack Center in Las Vegas for a final trip through the Mountain West Conference basketball tournament. They end up as a 2 seed after a final wild weekend in which the Aztecs could have tied for the conference championship with New Mexico and Utah State and actually ended up with a lower 3 seed. But when Utah State beat New Mexico Saturday afternoon, 94-90, they locked into the 2 seed with a final conference record of 14-6, 1 game behind first place Utah State. As the 2 seed, the Aztecs are on the opposite side of the bracket from the top seed Aggies and 4 seed Grand Canyon, who beat the Aztecs twice this season. The way the bracket looks right now, the Aztecs will face the winner of the 7-10 matchup, which is 6 p.m. Wednesday night, between Colorado State and Fresno State. The Aztecs split with the Rams this season and won their only matchup against the Bulldogs. If the Aztecs can get past Thursday's game, they will face either 3 seed New Mexico or the winner of the Wednesday first-round game between 6 seed Boise State and 11 seed San Jose State. The Aztecs earned that 2 seed Friday night, beating UNLV 89-86 on senior night in a wildly entertaining game in front of an electric crowd at Viejas Arena with some high-octane offense from both sides and 2 defenses that just didn't have any answers most of the night. It turned into a show between the Mountain West likely player of the year, Draw Gibbs Lawhorn, who put up 32 points on 11 of 22 shooting and a scorching 5 of 11 from 3, and the Aztecs' 6th-man extraordinaire B.J. Davis, who scored a career-high 30 points on 11 of 17 shooting and 4 of 8 from behind the arc. It was the first 30-point game by an Aztec since Jaden Ledee put up 32 against UAB in the first round of the NCAA tournament a couple of years ago. But Davis couldn't do it all by himself. The Aztecs needed another double-digit score, and that turned out to be Reese Dixon-Waters, who finished with 19 points. This one came down to the very last play of the game. After Dixon-Waters made 1 of 2 free throws with 12 seconds left to give the Aztecs a 3-point lead, the Rebels had one last chance to tie, and instead of fouling up 3, the Aztecs did not do that. The Aztecs let it play out with Gibbs Lawhorn down the other end trying to hit a step-back 3 to tie, but fittingly, it was B.J. Davis who was able to reach in and knock it away. Aztecs win. Here's Davis on that final play and Coach Jutcher on his 6th-man spark plug.
Well, I knew they needed 3, and I knew nobody else was going to take a shot but him, and I seen him kind of expose the ball a little bit, so just instinctual, just reached, and I got it. Luckily, no foul. You know how the refs be sometimes, but clean pluck, no foul, and good play, I guess.
BJ took over the game, and there was a late timeout, and I was going to run something for Reese, and I looked over at BJ, and he was rolling his eyes. So I changed my mind. I ran it for him. I said, you're right. You made all the baskets right now. I'm going to run it and give you the ball. And it worked out pretty good. So hard-fought win against a good team. And, you lose 4 out of 5. Momentum is an issue and going in the conference tournament. So this win gives us some momentum going into the conference tournament next week. I always say March is for players. And I don't care what I was running. BJ was incredible, right? He made big, important shots. He attacked the basket. He made important plays. So he's a player that when they go in, he plays like that, he makes us all look good. But March is for players, and he stepped up in March basketball. And if he plays that way in March, we'll have a chance to continue to win some of these games.
The Aztecs went with a senior night starting lineup of Sean Newman Jr., Dixon Waters, and Jeremiah Oden. Fourth-year junior Miles Bird, who was honored before the game with the other seniors, and junior Miles Heide. While last year Bird said he would return if he didn't go to the NBA, there is no such promise this year. Here's a taste of those senior night festivities, along with Coach Dutcher sharing his thoughts about senior night.
Accompanied by his brother and teachers, Father Carter, and images of forward from Chicago, Illinois, number 25, Jeremiah Oden. Accompanied by his parents, Karina and Sean, a guard for Los Angeles, number 4, Sean Newman Jr. Accompanied by his father, Mitch Louis, a guard from Chicago, Illinois, number 7, Cam Lewis. Accompanied by his mother, Shirley, father, Calvin, and sister, Alice, a guard from Scottsdale, California, number 21, Miles Bird. Delaney White and Madison Henderson, a guard from Long Beach, California, number 29, It was a great college basketball game, and it was a great way to send our 5 seniors out. So proud of all of them, what they've meant to this program, the class that they've lived their lives with, students, athletes, and good people. That's the perfect combination. They come from good families, and just so happy that they could finish their careers here at Viejas with a win.
Steve, after struggling on the offensive boards against Boise State earlier in the week, which you will talk about shortly, the Aztecs were better against the Rebels, out-rebounding them 33-30 and pulling down 7 on the offensive end to the Rebels' 8. But the Aztecs were shorthanded again. LZ Harrington sitting this one out due to his ongoing leg issues. But congratulations to Coach Brian Dutcher, who wins his 20th game for a 9th straight season as head coach. For the Aztecs to earn that automatic berth to the NCAA tournament, Steve, they will have to play better defense. They've given up 80-plus points now in the last 5 games, losing 3 of them, but they've also shown they can win some of those shootouts. This was the Aztecs' 13th game this season with at least 80 points, the most by an Aztecs team since the 30-2 team that never got to go to the NCAA tournament during that COVID-shortened 2019-2020 season.
Thank you, Lewis. Aztecs went into this game against Boise State teetering on the edge of relevance in terms of any bearing on the Schmetrics and that at-large big dance invite. Now, of course, you never know, but man, in a critical game, the Aztecs needed to address said relevance. They instead dug themselves a deep hole early against Boise State. Offensively, the Aztecs produced only single digits until Reese Dixon Waters made a three-pointer with 7 minutes, 50 seconds left in the first half. They were trounced in the rebound category. At one point, the Broncos had a 13-3 edge in the first half. Finished the half getting out-rebounded 18-7. Boise State had 5 offensive grabs. Aztecs, 0.0. So that advantage, of course, fueled second-chance points, transition opportunities for the home team in blue. The Broncos shot 46% from the field, 11 of 24. They were 7 of 17 from downtown. Aztecs had limited open look threes against a stellar Boise State defense, finished the half 3 of 7. Aztecs turned the ball over 5 times, fueling 10 points for their opponent. They trailed 22-5 after 10 minutes of play in the half, but they did stage a mini run, climbed to within 5 inside of 6 minutes left behind some sharp defense, some made threes by RDW and Miles Bird. Hallelujah. Then came what I thought was a big first-half moment. Bird makes a terrific steal. He's headed for a sure slam dunk that would make it a one-possession game. He goes up for the one-handed slam, and instead of slamming it home, he slams it off the rim. Immediately then commits a frustration foul on Drew Fielder, who's a big guy, 6'11", 220 pounds, and worse for the Aztecs, Bird looks winged after the sequence. He heads off the court next break, not looking good, clearly favoring his right knee. Boise State pushes the lead back out to double digits. Bird gets back into the game, but that knee obviously bothered him throughout the rest of it. Still, Aztecs battle to stay within 7 at the half. But the Aztecs had no answer for Boise State's center Drew Fielder. 12 points, 4 rebounds in the first half. Second straight game, the Aztecs were unable to contain a big, strong, mobile big man in the paint. Second straight game, it led to their downfall. Fielder, a grad transfer from Georgetown, but a Boise native, would go on to have a career night. 33 points, 3 of 4 from three-point range, 9 rebounds in 26 minutes of play. To start the second half, Boise State comes out with a 12-0 run, and after 5 minutes, they had a 20-point lead. Aztecs continued to look meek on the offensive glass. While there were some strange moments like a double technical on Magoon Guath and Fielder, and some chippy play in a game between two longtime conference rivals known for banging each other around, the Aztecs never led this one, and they could get no closer than 7 in the second half, while the home team in blue led by as many as 21. Story of this game, Lewis, 3 words: rebounds, rebounds, rebounds. Aztecs 15 rebounds, Boise State 37. On the offensive glass, the Bronx enjoyed a 12-2 advantage that led to 21 second chance points. The final in this one, 86-77, a 9-point differential that stands as one of the home team in blue's better wins of the season, they say. They are battling for positioning going into the tournament, can do no better than 5th place in the conference, but looking like a team that can take anyone out if they play as well as they did against the Aztecs on this particular night. Afterward, the home radio crew of Bob Beeler and Abe Jackson on Bronco Radio Network, their flagship station, KBOI 670 AM Boise. The crew had the opportunity to savor a win against a team they feel they should have defeated in that triple OT affair at Viejas earlier in the season, but instead blew a huge lead. Their post-game guest, of course, Broncos head coach Leon, don't call him White on, Rice. Coach is always happier to talk about their guys after a win, and this time he had a chance to talk about the job his team did on the glass, and also the ball handling help provided by Fiedler when the trailing Aztecs pulled out their full-court press, also the job his team did on defense.
We're a good rebounding team, and we knew they're usually a great rebounding team, and that was a key thing for us because you can't get a lot at the bucket when they're playing big like that, and they come and help, and they don't let you have lay-ins, and so you might end up taking a lot of outside shots, which we got to go get those rebounds when we do. So what we did was we made that second ball handler Drew, and that, my favorite part of the game was when Drew and Heidi were playing one-on-one in the park. There was nobody else around. I mean, that was great. So, but Drew, he drew 16, how many fouls did he? Drew 12 fouls, right? And had 33 points. And when you have a center that can handle a ball like that, man, it's pretty it helps you break the press, so you don't have to rely on guards against their quickness. We're buying in on our defense has gotten better. We played some pretty darn good D to start that game, and that got us the lead, and that got us to be able to be in the position we were with our defense.
So a happy senior night for the Broncos. Aztecs left staring at a stat sheet that featured 23 points by Reese Dixon Waters and leading rebounders in Elsie Harrington and Tay Simmons, who pulled down 3 boards apiece. Miles Bird had 4 assists in the losing effort. To you, Lewis.
Thank you, Steve. The women's basketball team is the 1 seed in the Mountain West tournament and was rewarded in the conference postseason awards as voted on by the league's head coaches. Stacey Terry Hudson was named Coach of the Year. Nala Williams won Player of the Year honors, along with being named to the All-Mountain West team and All-Defensive team. Kaylin Hamilton earned the 6th Player of the Year award, and Naomi Panganiban was named to the All-Mountain West team. That'll do it, Steve. Send this one home.
Thank you, Lewis. And while we're on the subject of thank you for representing Aztecs All In, official media credentialed at the final Mountain West Basketball Conference tournament that the Aztecs will participate in. Meantime, we'll be providing updates, and probably the best way to check out when the next one's coming your way is by following us on the X at Aztecs_all_in. You can also drop us a line on our Gmail account. That's aztecsallin@gmail.com. If there's something you have a particular interest in and want our man in Las Vegas to check it out for you. In the meantime, for Louis Weiner, I'm Steve Perez saying thanks for checking us out, and we will check back in with you soon.